The journey from Ctesiphon to the Persian Gulf begins with an air of tension and anticipation. After narrowly escaping the clutches of bandits and the turmoil within Ctesiphon itself, you feel a mixture of relief and determination as your group prepares for the next leg of the journey. You gather your men in the courtyard of Darius Artor's residence. The spacious dwelling, which had offered a brief respite, now buzzes with the sounds of preparation. Bolshevik, your trusted ally, stands beside you discussing the details of your departure. Darius has arranged for a river barge to take us to the Gulf, Bolshevik informs you. It's the safest route we have given this plague. The soldiers say dozens in the city have died overnight. You nod, appreciating the efforts of your benefactor, Darius Artor, a rotund and boisterous man, not only provided shelter, but also helped procure the means to continue your mission. His connections and influence have been invaluable. However, this plague is worrisome, as it is coming from the very direction you and your group are heading. Assigned to you on this day, the seasoned centurion, Aulus Galerius Varro, leads his contubernium of 8 men and ensures they are ready. His authoritative voice cuts through the morning air as he barks orders, organizing the men and securing provisions. Varus, Bolshevik's protector, a muscular and scarred former gladiator from Germania, stands nearby, his presence also a reassuring addition to the group. Your brother Lucius stands apart from the group, always lost in thought. We leave for the Gulf soon. It's critical that you stay close and out of trouble, you warn, hoping your words will sink in. Lucius nods, but you can see the restlessness in his eyes. His struggle with addiction and his impulsive nature continues to be a source of concern. There's a sense of panic in the city as more reports are coming in of this plague from the east. News that some have begun to make it to the city gates before being turned away, and yet further reports of deaths within the city itself overnight. The group sets out at dawn upon one of the many trade barges navigating the river Tigris that touches Ctesiphon with its eastern bank. A journey of but a few days, winding its way through vast, lush landscapes adjoining the mighty river. The Tigris then meets with the Euphrates and continues again for several days as one through now marshy terrain. The journey is long, and many of the boats heading in the direction of Ctesiphon speak of the spreading plague from the east. Several ships with those struck by it forbidden to continue on to populated areas. On one such ship, just a few dozen feet from yours, you catch sight of a man with circular eruptions all over his face and what looks like a yellow liquid leaking from many of them. Easy to spot, as the man had been isolated to one side of the ship away from the rest. When the marshes finally clear, the sight of the Persian Gulf on the horizon fills you with a renewed sense of wanderlust. At the mouth of the Gulf and the river, the bustling port city of Charax-Spasinu. The city is alive with activity, merchants trading goods and sailors preparing their vessels for departure, but there's also a growing sense of unease. Bolshevik leads you through the maze of docks and warehouses to a small, modest ship waiting for you. The ship will take us to southern Indus, Bolshevik explains. It's not much, but it will suffice for the passage. It will port us at the city of Muziris, one of the jeweled cities in Tamalakam, the land of the 3 Tamil kingdoms. Muziris is part of the Charas kingdom. To the south and southeast lies the Pandjas kingdom, and to the northeast the kingdom of the Cholas. All 3 kingdoms serving as a central point of trade between Selica, the land of silk, and Rome. Although the Parthians would argue they hold that position, but for them, most of the incoming trade is via the land route to Selica. You nod in acknowledgement, familiar with the port city your people traded with. Your Garum, after all, made its way here once out of your network, and your Pliny the Elder wrote of it magnificently in his natural history, calling it the first emporium of Indus. The Charas port was said to have one of the strongest navies in the known world, much needed to protect the lucrative trade that flowed through its docks. They were also known for being among the best shipbuilders, rivaled perhaps only by your people. Literature here flourished, as did agriculture, but everywhere in the city, homage was paid to the sea, for the sea provided everything. You inspect the vessel, noting its sturdy construction and the capable crew awaiting orders. Aulus and his men load the supplies and secure the ship, while Chandrasekhar, a skilled pilot from southern Indus, introduces himself. You learn that Muziris is his home city. "I will guide you through the Gulf and into the ocean waters beyond," Chandrasekhar assures you, his eyes reflecting confidence and experience. "But we must navigate carefully to avoid pirates in treacherous waters. Once in Muziris, we will transfer to another ship, more capable of the journey." With everything in place, you give the order to set sail, and the ship slowly pulls away from the dock, leaving the port city behind. The sun rises over the Persian Gulf, casting a golden hue over the water as your ship leaves. The salty breeze filling your lungs, a welcome reprieve from the stifling and oppressive heat of the land you'd experienced these last many weeks. Chandrasekhar stands beside you, his eyes scanning the horizon. Aulus Galerius Varro, the seasoned centurion leading your Roman guards, already ensuring that his men are prepared for any threats. And Varus, Bolshevik's protector, standing near Aulus, the two men exchanging a few words as they survey the sea. "Keep a sharp lookout, men," Aulus commands, his voice steady. "We don't know what dangers these waters may hold." Navigating through the narrow straits of the Persian Gulf proves rather uneventful. Chandrasekhar's expertise is evident as he deftly maneuvers the ship through the waters. Parthia having built many magnificent towns to the north as your ship heads east through the Gulf. While pirates are said to be a constant threat, you encounter none, and Aulus keeps his men on high alert, their eyes always scanning the horizon for any signs of approaching ships. Each evening, as the sun sets, casting a fiery glow over the sea, you gather with your men on deck. The atmosphere hopeful, stories, plans, and past exploits are shared, with everyone trying to keep spirits high. Lucius, your brother, seems distant as always, with deep shadows under his eyes, so you keep a close eye on him, knowing his propensity for trouble. The days pass in a blur of activity. The crew works tirelessly, guided by Chandrasekhar's experienced hand, and the Roman soldiers maintain their consistent watch. One afternoon, as the ship sails smoothly through the Gulf, Lucius approaches you, a troubled expression on his face. "I feel a burden to you all," he confesses. "I want to help, but I don't know how." You place a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You're not a burden, Lucius. We are in this together. Just stay focused and follow orders. We'll get through this." Lucius nods, a flicker of determination in his eyes. "I'll do my best," he says, walking away. Aulus then joins you, his expression thoughtful, but a tad concerned. "Your brother looks troubled," he observes. "Do you think he will be able to handle this journey?" You sigh, glancing at Lucius. "I hope so, Aulus. He struggles with his demons, but I believe in him. We just need to keep him occupied and out of trouble." After weeks of navigating the perilous waters and following the shoreline of Indus south, you approach the bustling port city of Muziris. The vibrant colors and sounds of the large port and adjoining marketplace come into view. The air is thick with what to you are exotic scents, and the chatter and bustle of merchants haggling over their various wares. As your ship docks, you are greeted by a delegation led by Kumarasamy, a master shipbuilder renowned for his craftsmanship. His eyes, reflecting years of wisdom and experience, meet yours as you disembark. "Welcome to our city," Kumarasamy says, with a respectful nod and heavily broken Greek. "I have heard of your journey and the challenges you have faced. Let us discuss how we can assist you." The city's energy is infectious, and it's nice to have made landfall here after so many weeks at sea. You follow Kumarasamy through the bustling docks, the sound of hammering and sawing filling the air as shipbuilders work on their vessels. And he leads you to a large, impressive ship, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. "This is the ship we have prepared for you. It is sturdy and well-crafted, capable of withstanding the long journey ahead." You inspect the vessel, noting its robust construction and the skilled craftsmanship evident in every detail. Noting your interest, Chandrasekhar provides further details on the construction. "This hull is made from the durable hardwood teak, plentiful here. which has a natural resistance to seawater and pests. The planks, meticulously shaped and joined together using coconut fiber ropes soaked in oil to prevent rotting. This allows the hull to be flexible and absorb the shock of waves. The sails, made from woven cotton and palm leaf mats, designed to efficiently catch the wind. You note that the ship has multiple sturdy masts made from a single piece of timber, with complex rigging composed of a series of intricate ropes and pulleys, and the deck itself appears spacious, facilitating the storage of a large quantity of goods. It can be manned by 20 to 50 men, and it is roughly 80 feet in length. It is indeed an impressive ship, Kumarasamy. We are grateful for your assistance. He smiles. Ah, Chandrasekhar. You are in good hands, Roman. He is one of our best pilots. He knows these waters and those beyond well. I would say better than any. As the preparations continue, you take a moment to observe the bustling activity around you. The port city is a hive of commerce and culture, a melting pot of different peoples and traditions. You feel a sense of excitement and anticipation for the journey. That evening, Kumarasamy invites you and your key companions to a feast in your honor. The banquet, held in a grand hall with tables laden with a variety of dishes, from spiced to fresh seafood. The aroma tantalizing, and the atmosphere soon filled with laughter and conversation. Kumarasamy raises a cup of wine and a toast. To your journey, and to the bonds of friendship that unite us. May the gods watch over you and grant you safe passage. You raise your cup in response, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the hospitality and support you've received. To our hosts, we are honored to be here and thankful for all you have provided. Not just I and my men, but Rome thanks you. As the feast continues, you find yourself in conversation with Chandrasekhar, discussing the challenges of navigating the Indian Ocean. The monsoon season can be particularly treacherous, he explains. We must time our departure carefully to avoid the worst of the storms. You nod, appreciating his expertise. We'll follow your guidance, Chandrasekhar. Your knowledge of these waters is invaluable. The evening passes in a blur of camaraderie and celebration. The next morning, you gather your men and prepare to set sail. The new ship, fully stocked and ready for the journey, stands at the dock, its sail billowing in the breeze. Kumarasamy and Chandrasekhar oversee the final preparations, ensuring that everything is in order. However, despite your efforts to keep your brother close, he is nowhere to be seen. You search the bustling streets of the port city, your anger rising with each passing hour. Finally, you find him in a dimly lit gambling den surrounded by a crowd of onlookers. He has lost heavily, and a man whom you will learn is the rich mercenary merchant Rajendra stands over him, demanding immediate payment before he is free to leave. What were you thinking, Lucius? You demand, switching from Greek to Roman, your voice a mix of anger and concern. His guilt is evident as he avoids your gaze. I'm sorry, he mutters, looking down at the ground. Rajendra, a wealthy and influential merchant, steps forward, his eyes glinting with malice. Your brother owes a significant debt, and I expect it to be paid immediately. You quickly assess the situation, knowing that any delay could lead to further trouble. How much does he owe? Rajendra names the amount, an amount far greater than what you have in your current possession. Handing over a pouch of coins, you explain it as most of what is owed, and you will see to it that the rest is paid as soon as word is sent back. Rajendra's eyes burn with hatred as he reluctantly accepts the payment. This is not the end of it, Roman, he warns, his voice low and threatening. I will not forget this. You take Lucius by the arm and lead him out of the den, your anger simmering. You need to stay out of trouble, Lucius. This could have ended badly for all of us. He nods, his eyes filled with remorse. It is now early afternoon, and you gather your group and prepare to set sail on the ship. And you hope to put distance between you and Rajendra. As the ship pulls away from the dock, you can't shake the feeling that trouble is following close behind. Sure enough, just before noon, a cry rings out from the lookout. Ship on the horizon! Aulus, instantly alert, his eyes scanning the distance. Prepare for battle, he commands. Chandrasekhar quickly assesses the situation, his eyes narrowing as he studies the approaching ship. "It is Rajendra's vessel," he says grimly. "He means to attack free from the city guard." The crew springs into action, the Roman soldiers taking their positions and readying their weapons, the tension thick as the mercenary ship draws closer. Aulus stands at the helm, his expression resolute as always. "Prepared to defend the ship," he bellows. With a large thud and sound of creaking wood, Rajendra's ship crashes alongside yours, his men quickly crossing onto your deck. The clash of swords and the shouts of men fill the air as the two crews engage in fierce combat. The mercenaries are relentless, but the discipline and training of your soldiers hold strong. Chandrasekhar focuses on trying to put distance between the ships, but they remain joined despite his best efforts. In the heat of battle, you find yourself face to face with one of Rajendra's men. You raise your sword in a feeble attempt to parry, but his strike carries through your guard and bites into the side of your shoulder, sending you stepping back and falling into a side rail. Thankfully, just then Varus steps in with a quick thrust clear through the pirate's back, emerging out through his chest. Together, you continue to push back the enemy crew, the tide of battle slowly turning in your favor. Rajendra then signals to his men to retreat back to their ship. Rather than pursue them on board, Aulus orders his men to cover him as he lights an arrow and sends it into Rajendra's mainsail. His crew then scramble to put the fire out, now spreading across the sail. Chandrasekhar then finally manages to get the needed distance between the ships, which only increases with each passing minute as their crew is still occupied. Soon, their ship disappears into the distance and, eventually, over the horizon. As the dust settles, you survey the damage. The ship has sustained hits, but it remains seaworthy, as most of the damage is superficial and along the upper rail. Aulus and his men tend to the wounded, which includes you. Chandrasekhar approaches. "We survived this encounter, but we must remain vigilant until we have cleared the three kingdoms." You nod as your arm is bandaged, appreciating his words of caution. With the immediate threat behind you, the ship sails on through the calm waters of the Gulf, rounding southern Indus and passing through the territory of the Pandyans, one of the Tamil three kingdoms. Then your ship passes between Indus and what you are told is a large island to its southeast. Next, you pass through the Chola kingdom, and as with the Pandyans, a ship meets yours for the customary questions and payments to use their waterways. 3 days after clearing the Pandyan waters, the weather turns increasingly worse, and by the afternoon of the fourth day has become a violent storm. Relentless waves and howling wind pushing you towards the rocky shoreline. The ship creaks and groans as it is battered by the storm, the men struggling to keep their footing on the heaving deck. Aulus shouts orders above the roar of the wind, his voice steady despite the chaos. "Secure the lines! Keep the ship steady!" Aulus commands. Chandrasekhar clings to the helm, his knuckles white with the effort. "We need to put the shore far behind us, or we will be torn to pieces on the rocks." He manages to slowly maneuver the ship further and further from the shore until the shore can no longer be seen. The waves here, though, are immense and heaving your ship to and fro. You assist where you can, your heart pounding with the fear of the unknown and the dark, deep, rough waters. The storm seems relentless, each wave threatening to capsize your vessel. Then a loud tearing sound as the lowered sail rips and flies out to sea, taking a part of one of the masts with it. Just when it seems the ship can't withstand another assault, the storm finally begins to die down. Chandrasekhar, however, is concerned. The usual aids for his navigation are obscured, the coastline far from sight, and the sun and stars covered by dark clouds. Even the winds are untrustworthy. For days, the ship, now partially at the mercy of the currents, heads to what he believes is the southeast. After a week, the weather finally clears, and soon one of the yells is of land spotted. The sight is both breathtaking and welcome. The island appears relatively small, not much larger than perhaps the capital Rome itself. It is densely forested with lush greenery that contrasts sharply against the deep blue of the surrounding ocean. The coastline predominantly lined with white sandy beaches, forming a pristine boundary around the dense jungle interior. The beaches appear untouched and tranquil, stretching out in gentle curves that outline the island's perimeter. The dense canopy of rainforest rising quickly behind the beaches, creating a thick emerald green blanket that covers the majority of the island, giving it a wild and impenetrable appearance. The waters surrounding the island are shallow and clear, with small, tiny islands that could hold not much more space than your ship, and visible coral reefs just beneath the surface. These reefs forming a natural barrier around parts of the island, their colors ranging from bright turquoise in the shallows to deeper blues further out. The reefs likely teeming with marine life. You order your men to begin assessing the situation and gathering materials for repairs. As you draw closer, you notice occasional narrow streams or rivulets making their way from the forest to the ocean, suggesting the presence of fresh water within the island. There's also likely to be occasional rocky outcrops and small sheltered coves that interrupt the stretches of sandy beach. You and a small group including Aulus, Verus, and Chandrasekhar set off towards the dense jungle. The atmosphere is one of untouched natural beauty and profound isolation. The lack of human-made structures or visible signs of civilization adds to the island's mysterious and almost timeless quality. Stay alert, you instruct your men as you move through the thick underbrush. We need to find fresh water and materials to repair the ship. The path you are on is uneven, with roots and vines creating natural obstacles. Despite the challenging terrain, you press on, driven by the need to secure supplies and ensure the safety of your crew. As you venture deeper into the jungle, you come across a freshwater spring bubbling up from the ground. After a few hours of exploration, you begin to see signs of human habitation, simple shelters made from natural materials, and tools crafted from wood and stone, suggesting there are others on this island. You and your group eventually come across a clearing where you do indeed spot several islanders. They resemble Ethiops, although shorter, dark skin, curly hair, and wear minimal clothing made of bark fibers and natural materials. They are equipped with bows and arrows, spears and knives made from wood and stone. The islanders initially seem curious and friendly. They cautiously approach your group, their eyes wide with interest. You gesture for your men to lower their weapons, hoping to avoid any misunderstandings. One of the islanders steps forward. He speaks in a language you do not understand, his words flowing in unfamiliar rhythms. His tone, though, is calm, and his gestures seem peaceful. You respond with gestures of your own, indicating you mean no harm. Chandrasekhar steps forward, offering the islanders a small pouch of spices as a gesture of goodwill. The islanders examine the gift curiously, then nod and smile, their demeanor relaxing slightly. They seem to accept the gesture, Chandrasekhar observes. You nod in agreement. Let's hope they understand our intentions. We need all the help we can get. You then present the islanders with a gift of several Indian boar, which you had purchased during your stay in Indus. The islanders accept the offering with visible delight, their curiosity transforming into genuine smiles now. The leader gestures for you to follow him into the jungle. And so for the next week, your group works alongside the islanders, gathering wood and other supplies necessary to repair the ship. The atmosphere is one of cautious cooperation, but as the days pass, a mutual respect begins to grow. After several days, while the men are felling trees, you notice an older islander teaching Aulus and Verus some of their woodworking techniques. The centurion, usually stern and reserved, listens intently, nodding in understanding, and the two men exchange a few words, relying mostly on gestures, though, and shared effort to communicate. Meanwhile, Lucius finds himself drawn to a group of children who watch your activities with wide-eyed fascination. He teaches them some simple Roman children's games, and their laughter rings out across the clearing. It's a rare sight to see your brother so engaged and so at ease. A young woman with bright eyes and a warm smile who had approached you earlier with a basket of fruits continues to assist your group. She introduces herself by pointing to her chest and saying, "Zara." You smile and nod, repeating her name. She leads you to a grove of sturdy trees, indicating with gestures that these would be good for your ship. You understand her intention to point out the stronger wood. "Thank you, Zara," you reply, appreciating her guidance. In return, you share some of your provisions with the islanders. Your men fish alongside them, learning new techniques and sharing songs around the evening fires, each doing their best to imitate the strange, foreign sounds of the other's language. One evening, as the sun sets and the sky turns a brilliant shade of orange, you sit with the islanders around a large fire. The leader makes a series of gestures that Chandrasekhar interprets as a blessing for a safe journey. You nod and smile, hoping your gratitude is understood. After the fire dies down, you engage in a quiet conversation with Aulus and Verus. These people have shown us great kindness, you say, looking around at the relaxed expressions of your men and the islanders. Aulus nods. Yes, but we must remember to continue to respect their customs. Verus agrees. In my experience, respect goes a long way. Let's honor them. Lucius joins you, looking more content than he has in a long time. It's peaceful here, he says. Almost makes you forget the troubles we faced. Enjoy it while it lasts, you reply, clapping him on the shoulder. For we have a long, long journey ahead. You notice how the islanders work seamlessly with nature. They move with a quiet grace, their actions precise and purposeful. It's clear they've lived in harmony here with their environment for many generations. One afternoon, while gathering fruits with Zara, she points to the sky, her expression serious. You follow her gaze and see dark clouds gathering. Storm? You ask, mimicking the sound of thunder. Zara nods. You hurry back to the camp to warn Aulus and the others. We need to secure everything, you say urgently. A storm is indeed coming. The men work quickly to tie down supplies, secure the ship as best they can. The islanders assist, their experience with such weather here proving invaluable. As the storm hits, you huddle with your men under makeshift shelters. The wind howls and the rain pours down in sheets. But the preparations hold. Through the storm, you catch a glimpse of the islanders calmly riding out the tempest. When the storm finally passes, you survey the damage. The camp is wet but intact, and the ship, well, it's weathered the storm well. You breathe a sigh of relief, grateful for the islanders' help. Soon, the repairs near completion, and plans are set to sail the next day. The last evening, it is decided, will be a celebration between you and the islanders. Thus, your group decides to share some of your wine with them, something they had no knowledge of. Tensions rise unexpectedly when one of the islanders, having consumed too much wine and likely not understanding its effects, begins to get too personal with one of the soldiers, a young man named Gaius. Gaius soon grows frustrated and pushes the man away, rather hard. The islander then begins to get aggressive in return, and a heated argument starts, which soon turns physical. "Stop this at once!" Aulus shouts, running towards his soldier. But the situation quickly escalates. Within mere seconds, Gaius, now in a drunken rage himself, pulls out his dagger and stabs the islander in the chest. The islander collapses, blood pooling around him quickly, and the other islanders' expressions turn from confusion to horror and then to fury. Aulus pulls Gaius away from the fallen islander. Gaius, immediately sobered by the gravity of his actions, stammers an explanation. "I didn't mean to. It happened so fast." Their leader steps forward, his face a mask of anger. He speaks rapidly in his language, his gestures making it clear that your presence is no longer welcome. "It's clear they want us to leave now," Chandrasekhar says. You nod, understanding. "Agreed." Aulus organizes the men, his voice steady but urgent. "Pack up everything. We're leaving." The atmosphere continues to charge as the islanders make it clear that any further delay will be met with violence. As you and your men scramble to gather your belongings and return to the ship, the islanders follow closely, their eyes burning with anger. "Move quickly," Aulus commands, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We must avoid any more violence, but we have to leave." Lucius, visibly shaken, helps carry supplies back to the ship. As you reach the shore, the islanders form a line, their expressions angry, making it clear this is your final warning. "We're leaving," you say, raising your hands in a placating gesture. "No more harm will come to your people." The leader nods, but his eyes remain wary. You and your men quickly board the ship. The atmosphere tense as you push off from the shore. The islanders then begin to throw their spears and shoot their arrows, some sticking into the hull of the ship, others flying overhead, but none striking any of you as the legionaries set up a shield wall. As you sail away from the island, the relief of escape mingles with the frustration towards the soldier who started the conflict. Aulus stands by you. I will assure he is punished accordingly. Lucius approaches, his face pale. They helped us. They did not deserve this. I, Lucius, simply reply. The ship, though still damaged, sails slowly but steadily towards your next destination. You stand at its front, looking towards the horizon, determined more than ever to complete your mission for the Emperor.